Hey, look, gravitation. Cannabis got to be from up north forest from Jamaica. No confirmation, then it's no participation. Never see it in rotation in my conversation. No need for confrontation. This is my observation. Gravitation with the observation. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong, man. Shout out to RapAholics. We got some more updated information in the UMG and Drake lawsuit case. Excuse me, not case, but not cake, but case. You feel me? Like I always say, man, get your drinks, get your smokes, get your eats, whatever you about to do, man. We're gonna go ahead and attack this together. Let's go.
The slaughtering song Not Like Us, now Lobby might learn the hard way that his court shenanigans are a hard, tight bust. The court gazer glazer of the gavels just got tossed in his UMG lawsuit like a paddle, so drop a like and subscribe, and let's strap into these issues like a saddle.
I study rap battles for a living.
Now, Lawbreeze and Gentlegrams, I really didn't want to bring you guys another Drake story, all right? We've had some of the most insane moments transpire in the last week between the Diddy trial, which Drake is mentioned in. I just did a whole video on that, so go check that out. Also, the Ray Vaughn, Joey Badman beef. There's a lot I want to cover here, so drop a comment on different topics that you guys want to see, but this was too...
Oh, yeah, and shout out, matter of fact, I'm finna touch on that next, man. The Joey, man, Joey and Ray, that's what I'm talking about, bro. That's that real hip-hop, you feel me? That's that real hip-hop. You already know what side I'm residing on, though. You already know this West, but I just like for the sport within itself and how y'all coming back, that's what we need. But let's go ahead and continue, though.
Too insane to ignore, all right? We got to break down this brand new development from the Drake and UMG lawsuit, because obviously, if you guys have been keeping up, you know Drake is suing for defamation over Not Like Us, claiming the lyrics, the music video, and the cover art have caused danger to his life, with his home being attacked on multiple occasions, has also caused immense financial and reputational damage, right? Because now his stock is lowered. Everyone views him as an OVHO, a PDF, or at least that's what he's claiming.
And real ones know that Not Like Us has nothing to do with his attack on his house. Let's just keep it a buck.
And he wants answers from UMG. He has requested 18 different forms of documentation from UMG, including Kendrick Lamar's contracts, all the interactions they had about the Super Bowl performance, the Grammys, all the marketing they put in behind Not Like Us and behind Kendrick's music in general over the last few years. This seems a little invasive, and both Drake and UMG have requested by the judge to keep all the documents that will be reviewed in court private. So we won't get a look at anything that Drake gets from UMG, and that's essentially to protect both sides, right? Because let's say Drake's contracts have to get reviewed in this lawsuit and they become public, well, other artists can look at that and say, hey, UMG, you didn't offer me that much money. You didn't offer me a structure in my contract as beneficial as Drake's is or as Kendrick's is. So I'm not signing with you, right? So this creates a little bit of a conflict, right? If all these private contracts become public. The judge agreed to this. So again, we won't see any of the contracts, any of the documents that Drake goes in and finds from UMG. And at the same time, UMG has done their best to try to get this case dismissed. Now, they have failed so far. Discovery is still about to happen, meaning, again, Drake is about to get all these documents he's requesting, Kendrick's contracts, etc., and the lawsuit will move on. However, we just got a big update, not from UMG, not from Drake, but from a third party that when I read you guys what they say in this document, if you're like me and you're very displeased by this lawsuit, you will be very happy. Now, of course, we've discussed this plenty of times on the channel, right? If Drake actually wins this defamation case, it sets a brand new precedent for how rap lyrics can be used in court going forward.
I study rap battles for a living.
Right? Record labels are going to be paranoid that something they release from an artist can land them in a lawsuit similar to the one that Drake has now filed. And UMG said this in their own clapback to the lawsuit, that essentially this will compromise free speech, compromise what artists can use creatively in their music, and it sets a brand new standard for how lyrics can be used against artists and record labels in a court of law. Drake tried to frame this like he's saving the industry. When you boil it down, he's really just upset that he lost a rap battle.
I study rap battles for a living.
And don't get it twisted. He's not.
And once again, I'm going to keep saying this, no matter how many times I see it, I'm going to keep pounding this in your head for the listeners that's already been here. You feel me? And the new listeners, bro. I don't see how anybody that's a rap artist or just a musician, just in general, you feel me? Especially in our background, can defend this. I don't care. Can defend this. Let's keep going, though.
He's not upset that Kendrick came at him with an insane insult that hurt his feelings, right? He doesn't care about that. Look at Meet the Grams. Meet the Grams was way more dark, way more scathing than Not Like Us, right? But Meet the Grams was not the hit. What Drake is mad about is the fact that Not Like Us became this global sensation with millions, billions of people around the world screaming OVHO, screaming Certified Lover Boy, Certified PDF. These quotables are now...
Now, what if we were screaming out, they free, wife beater, you're a wife beater? Kid might not be yours. What if we were screaming that out? Like, I wonder, would he have the same, Yeah, let's keep going, though.
Are now staples within battle rap and within hip-hop history, and they will forever be tied negatively to Drake's name. And Drake essentially thinks...
Because I'll be trying to... My bad, y'all. I'll be really trying to figure out, like, you know, we covered this, a lot of us, you feel me, reactors, bro. We didn't cover it a lot. I know people getting tired of the same stories, but no lie, bro. I still be trying to find, like, the balance, like, not so much playing like a devil's advocate, but I'll be, like, trying to figure out, like, where's he getting this from? Like, how did you come up, like, with this comment, like, this logic, where, like, you hit somebody and then he hits you back? How are you mad at them? Are you like, oh, no, you're not playing fair, or, oh, no, that hurts, or, bro, you did the same thing. That's crazy. Like I said, I can see if you ain't doing nothing, you're not doing anything, you feel me, and you get hit with the woo-wop. Like, then, okay, that makes sense. Like, bro, where you coming out with this? But if we engage this, my fault. Sound like a broken record. I know. Let's keep going, though.
Thinks there's no way that UMG didn't have some big master evil plan to basically destroy his reputation by promoting this song to the ends of the earth, putting fake streams on it, fake numbers, boosting it on social media to essentially inflate how big the song really is, to make the world think it's this massive success when really that's all been manufactured, right? So Drake is suing UMG not just for releasing the song, but also promoting it in the ways that they have. And we'll see by the end of this lawsuit, did UMG really use bots? Did UMG really promote this song illegally on radio? Did they really kind of stretch and fudge the numbers? But I think, like Kendrick said on his Super Bowl halftime show performance, they try to rig the game, but you cannot fake influence, right? Regardless of the streams and the Spotify numbers and whatever, you can hear him perform the song every night on his GNX tour, and fans are screaming it at the top of their lungs, so much so to the point where you could be outside the stadium. There's videos of this, and you could still hear people singing the song. And I believe that is the exact reason why Drake is suing. But regardless, that doesn't matter, right? These are just the basics of what we know. What's important is this brand new document that got released within the lawsuit that is titled Brief of Scholars Charis Kubrin, I might be mispronouncing these names, so I'm sorry in advance, Jack Lerner, Adam Dunbar, and Kyle Winnan as amici curiae in support of defendant's motion to dismiss. So these 5 scholars here are going by the alias amici curiae, and they are supporting UMG's motion to dismiss. Basically, they're in support of UMG's request to get this lawsuit tossed in the garbage. Now, that doesn't mean that they are working for UMG. This is, again, a third party of scholars who have literally studied rap battles for...
Oh, wait, now we get to
a living.
I study rap battles for a living.
And they are here to call out...
So he's like, no, these 5... Okay, I see what's going on, because I was about to say, I was just like, yeah. I'm like, hold on, let me hold on. I was just like, yeah, because I'm like, well, we already heard this information before. That's why I'm not really doing too much commentary on this situation. You feel me? If you can go back to my other videos, you feel me, to get my opinion on these things, because I really go into detail, into depth. But now we get into where, okay, so these 5 scholars is not so much working for UMG, because that's what I thought too. That's why I say I'm trying to... It seemed like, oh, this is a play by UMG. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. But if they not even associate, they just breaking down what's going on. Okay, now we get into the meat and potatoes. Let's go.
Out the dangers of this lawsuit and why it's logical for it to be dismissed. And they came with the facts. You guys are going to love this. So let's break it down. So just a little bit more background on who these guys are, why they have any authority to speak on this lawsuit. Basically, again, they're the collective known as Amici, a nationally recognized experts on the use of rap lyrics in court. They are criminologists and scholars of criminal justice, freedom of expression, and intellectual property. Amici have authorized landmark experimental studies demonstrating that rap evidence creates a strong risk of bias in the courtroom. A legal treatise, I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, of the use of rap lyrics in criminal proceedings, content analysis of rap music, and research on the intersection of race and the criminal justice system. Amici has served as expert witnesses, been widely quoted in media, and presented their research to thousands of attorneys, judges, scholars, and members of the public. As experts on rap music and its use in judicial proceedings, Amici seeks to provide this court with the contextual framework necessary to examine rap lyrics, one that accounts for rap's history as artistic expression, its genre-specific practices, and in particular, the unique role and normative conventions of rap battles, rap feuds, and quote-unquote diss tracks. A thorough understanding of this context is necessary not only to assess the defamation claim at issue in this case, but to prevent the harms that arise when courts treat rap lyrics as confessions or factual representations. So essentially, again, these are a group...
Exactly. Oh, well, he's about to break it out. Before I even say what I got to say, like I say, it's a whole bunch of high probables. I can never pronounce that word, but hypotheticals. It's, hey, bro, it's you know what I'm saying? It's fiction. It's stuff that's not have to be factual. So that's the difference between a documentary or a publications. And I've said that numerous of times, bro. That's the difference when somebody goes sue for that. when you saying these stuffs like at like TMZ or whatever the case may be, and when you're putting this out, unless they're saying allegedly, right? That's a difference. But when they putting out these documentaries and so, bro, that's like suing. That's like trying to. I don't know. I gotta come back with one. But like we really look at Denzel as being a crooked person in real life after playing Alonzo on Training Day. You know what I'm saying? That's like Clifton Powell really getting labeled as a rapist after the woman with Kimberly Lease. What's the movie that came out in 04? Dang, I forgot. Is it The Art of Thou or something like that? I'm sorry, but y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all can look it up, but Clifton Powell, he played a cold character, stepfather. But what I'm saying is that's like us labeling Clifton Powell as one of the coldest actors, Pinky. If y'all don't know who Clifton Powell is, but Pinky as a rapist after that movie, like bro, it's not made to be factuals. But let my boy cook. My bad, rapper. Let my boy cook.
Group of criminologists, I can't pronounce that, and people who have studied rap battles and diss songs and the effects of using rap lyrics in court, and they're here to present why this defamation case is dangerous for the sanctity of creativity. So they continue. Drake's defamation claim rests on assumption that every word of Not Like Us should be taken literally as a factual representation. This assumption is not just faulty, it is dangerous. When rap lyrics are admitted, it is because they are treated as literal. This in turn opens the door to racial bias and stereotypes in the courtroom, as empirical studies have demonstrated. Treating rap lyrics as literal fact also threatens First Amendment speech protections, and the practice already has created a demonstrable...
Wait a minute. I just thought about something right now, bro. I just thought about something. With the Young Thug case. Wait, Drake. Yeah, see, Drake trolling. I think Drizzy just trying to get out his contract, bro. I just thought about it. Wasn't he the one that went to bat for Young Thug, saying like, bro, this is to me, y'all can't use this rap lyrics against him? You feel me? Talking about his case. It's the same thing, bro. Like, bro, that's just creative. We being creative. Everything is not meant to be factual. So how come it's different in your circumstances? Because the world is screaming this, but I mean, like you said, we know it's not true. So why is that bothering you when you know it's not true? Are you feeling like, oh, I'm not the guy? Did I get dethroned in some type of way? Because your numbers ain't with nowhere. Nothing. You haven't lost any. Nothing. You lost a little bit of respect with this damn lawsuit, but let's keep it going though. But I just noticed that you went to bat for Thug, and now you talking about, yeah,
chilling effect across the industry.
We forget.
As this court considers whether the song lyrics of Not Like Us are expressions of opinion or rhetorical hyperbole on the one hand, or assertions of fact on the other, Amici respectfully urges this court to consider rap's history and artistic conventions, and to recognize that diss track lyrics are far from factual representations. As we demonstrate below, they are hyperbolic forms of creative expression consistent with the unique artistic practices and normative conventions of this genre. Diss tracks are an emblematic and long-standing feature of the history and cultural context of rap. They are understood by audiences not to represent factual assertions about the opposing artist, but rather to demonstrate skill and dominance meant to build allegiance and win competitions through clever wordplay, hyperbole, bluster, and demonstrations of disrespect.
I study rap battles for a living.
This court should consider this context and find the rap lyrics at issue in this case are a form of rhetorical hyperbole, not factual assertions. So then this group of scholars goes into their argument, which is that rap is an established musical genre with distinct artistic conventions that courts must consider before treating lyrics as factual representations. Essentially, again, hip-hop is a sport, and the court must understand that before looking at the lyrics in Not Like Us as an actual fact, as in Kendrick meant this as a fact to destroy Drake's reputation and make the whole world believe he was a PDF, right? So their first argument, rap music has a long history as a rebellious and defiant art form that has developed unique and specific artistic conventions and modes of expression. Rap music is the verbal and musical element of hip-hop, a cultural movement born in response to social conditions in predominantly Black urban communities, including economic decline, deindustrialization, urban neglect, and high crime. Hip-hop comprises multiple forms of artistic expression, including breakdancing, DJing, graffiti, and MCing. Rap is an extension of the Black American tradition of oral storytelling and quote-unquote signifying, a technique that incorporates exaggeration, metaphor, and wordplay. The core of signifying is the intentional manipulation of language, contrasting between...
Look, and he's breaking it down like he's defying, you feel me? Like he's really like really breaking it down to the point where some of us, like most of us, that's part of culture, we already know this, but how the way that he's really getting in depth with this is crazy to me that it got to this point that you really got to break it down like what's going on within the culture. And that's what I have a problem with. It's like, damn, bro, you let, and that's what we said, man. We let somebody in, and he's doing the same thing for them too. As far as UMG, we let you eat at the table, or we share some of our ways, our process, however we get down, however you want to look at it, bro. It's been going on from the beginning of time. It's gonna happen. It happened before us. It's gonna happen after us. You know what I'm saying? That's something you're not gonna stop. But look, we gave you certain information, or you seen certain things that we allowed you to see, and now you trying to blow it like to the public. That's the cold part about it, like, because you didn't get your way in the fight. They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't do nothing about that, Drizzy. Real talk, they couldn't do nothing about that, bro. The public spoke, not them. The public spoke. Don't get mad at them. The public, even if let's just say they shut down his stuff, right? Bam. If he just no radio play, just on the internet, no radio play, and they just force Family Matters on us, right? I still think that it wouldn't have mattered, bro. Like when that dropped, it was unexpected. It was great timing. It was and it was just coming off the day free. And then the next you got A minor. Like, come on, bro. The timing, bro, is nothing. Excuse me. I was just thinking about that the other day. Like, damn, what if they really would have shut down? They not like us get released, right? And I'm not saying that they did that for Family Matters. I'm not saying that. Because I think I heard Family Matters on the radio twice. And I'm out here in the land. You feel me? But imagine if they just shut that down. It was like, all right, man, Family Matters, they pumping it. Family Matters and push-ups, they just pumping it. I still think it wouldn't even matter, because for the simple fact is how the inner within itself, bro, people, it was dances right after that. Like right when that dropped, like 2 hours later, you go in there, I'm talking about everybody from every ethnicity, genre, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by genre, I'm talking about even like country, rock and roll people, like they was all doing that. Like was some type of dance for now. Like it wasn't even a dance. They was doing their own thing to it. You feel me? Just the West Coast vibe. Like, bro, you can't stop that. I don't care how much money or whatever you put behind. You can't shut that down. Even if they would erase the song, take it off all DSPs. Bro, it was still out of there. But let's continue. My fault. My bad.
Between literal and figurative meanings to create ambiguous and intentionally complex messages. When combined with rap's use of constantly evolving Black vernacular slang and its tendency to create new words and attribute varied meanings to common words, rap is particularly susceptible to misinterpretation. And we saw this as a prime example in the Young Thug trial, right? When they were using the words like slat and slime against him in a court of law, he would come in and say, no, these words don't necessarily mean anything gang related. They actually mean XYZ. I forget what he said the acronym for slime was, but essentially, again, there's this constantly evolving use of slang. There's these layered messaging and fantasy-like imagery and exaggerated truth within hip-hop, so it's very complicated to actually decipher what's truth and what's not. It is therefore critically important that courts understand the history, norms, and artistic conventions of rap music as crucial factors in determining the meaning of rap lyrics. In the words of the California Court of Appeal, given the figurative expressions which they are not intended to be and should not be read literally on their face. Now, their second argument is the normative conventions of rap as a genre. Courts frequently misinterpret rap lyrics as literal statements of fact, overlooking rap's distinct conventions arising from both historical traditions and intense market pressures. These misinterpretations, which can amount to criminalization of rap lyrics, pose a serious threat to artistic expression. Two key normative conventions make rap particularly susceptible to misinterpretation in judicial proceedings. First, stage names and public personas are a defining feature of the genre. Rap artists routinely create fictionalized characters under which they perform. Marshall Mathers performs as Eminem. Jeffrey Williams performs as Young Thug, and so on. Rap artists often create a hypermasculine, street-hardened persona for their musical careers because such personas lead to greater commercial success. AKA, rappers pretend to be tougher than they are because that will lead to more record sales. But these personas rarely represent real-life identities. When asked about his song High All the Time, Curtis James Jackson III, known professionally as 50 Cent, explained, I don't drink and I don't use drugs. And I didn't back then either. I put that joint on the first record because I saw artists consistently selling 500,000 with that content. That's 50 Cent basically saying, I wasn't actually high all the time, but I made a song called High All the Time because I knew it would go off in the clubs. Even as rap artists fabricate criminal personas, they also strive to appear authentic and proclaim they are keeping it real. But keeping it real doesn't mean lyrics should be taken as fact. The term can mean rejecting sanitized Hollywood depictions of life, revealing the complexities and depth of life in the inner city, or even fabricating criminal activities to maintain a tough image, a common practice in the rap industry. Without understanding the multi-layered complexities of rap artists' claims to authenticity, courts can misconstrue rap lyrics as literal depictions of real life. So that's interesting, right? They're saying that when rappers talk about quote-unquote keeping it real, they don't necessarily mean every little ounce of detail they spill in their lyrics is absolute truth, but instead it's more about maintaining who you are, maintaining your integrity while navigating tough settings like lower income neighborhoods or Hollywood. Keeping it real means maintaining your integrity, right? Maintaining who you are, but it doesn't necessarily mean that every lyric in your song should be taken as fact. Second, braggadocio, hyperbole, and competitive wordplay are amongst rap's most defining artistic practices. As Amici discusses below, these characteristics define rap battles and diss tracks, where exaggeration and lyrical cleverness take precedence over truth. Rappers use these battles to showcase their lyrical skills, focusing on creative insults designed to entertain and impress their audience. It is critically important that courts consider the particular artistic norms around rap battles when determining whether lyrics should be deemed factual representations. Then their second argument is diss tracks, rap battles, and rap feuds are part of an established tradition in rap music involving outrageous hyperbole and exaggeration, which neither fans nor...
Heard that? What he said? Tradition? Traditionally, right? Like tradition. So we know this is what we do. It's nothing new.
Performers take as literal. Competition and verbal sparring have been integral to rap music since the art form's inception in the 1970s, drawing on a long tradition in African American culture. Rap battles and diss tracks are often vicious, graphic, and hyperbolic, and rap lyrics regularly contain accusations of disreputable conduct, including illegal behavior. Essentially, again, hyperbole, right? Everything is exaggerated to make the audience more engaged, especially when you're talking about...
I just said that. You feel me? I just said that earlier.
Diss tracks. Audiences avidly follow rap feuds for their entertainment value and sheer drama. They expect exaggeration, insult, and lyrics that hit below the belt. They understand these performances are contests of verbal dexterity and lyrical domination, not factual arguments or a series of news reports. And that's what I said when I was commenting on the beef, right? Was that I hated how by the end of the beef, everything became like a TMZ gossip style headline. Drake with Family Matters jumping out the gate with all those horrible accusations about Kendrick. Kendrick even coming in with the fake daughter narrative. That I didn't really love. I wanted them to keep it creative, keep it on the music. And that's exactly what Kendrick did with Not Like Us, right? With that song, he won the contest of verbal dexterity and lyrical domination. These guys right here are the ones legally dominating lobby and court. Historically, the creative use of language and verbal competition are found in cultural practices within the African American community. These practices, referred to as dissing, capping, roasting, or clowning, involve ritual exchange of insult. As one example, The Dozens is a verbal game of dissing someone's mother using highly exaggerated, often sexually loaded, humorous, ritualized insults with expletives and profane language. Another example, Signifying, is a style of verbal play where an individual denigrates another through witty play on words and irony. Is sigging short for signifying? I heard Deleted mention sigging, or he has a series on his YouTube channel called The Sig Tapes, I believe. I don't know if that's what they're referring to in this document, but let me know in the comments. Anyways, these games of insult are meant to showcase the intellect, sharpness of tongue, and wit of the competitors. Rap music is a continuation of these cultural traditions. In the words of rapper Ice Cube, quote unquote, the essence and the origin of hip hop is to battle. As a result, rap is an especially rich site of insult, where insults abound as a mean of spice, rebellion, entertainment, and humor, building on the genre's traditional use of metaphor, play on words, and boasting. Nowhere is this more evident than in rap battles and diss tracks, staples of the genre. A rap battle is a live contest between rappers, often performed before a crowd, where the objective is to outwit, outflow, and outdiss one's opponent. Emerging from perceived transgressions, insults, or disses, rap battles are intensely competitive verbal displays, manifestations of impoliteness, characterized by verbal aggression and lyrical incentiveness. In rap battles, two components are on display: one's linguistic and witty ability as represented by what one raps, and one's profile as an artist, showcased by their presentation and performance in the battle. Rap battles...
I'm gonna go ahead and because I got other stuff that I want to get through today though, but you feel me? RapAholics, I'm gonna leave his link in the description, right? But I just want to cover this, bro, before I tap into something else, bro. Like I always say, man, as he was cooking, right? He had his apron on. Didn't mean him stop him, but I got other stuff I gotta do. But bro, you can't unless that man can show me, not so much me, but let the public know. I don't know if it's getting discussed in court or whatever, that, hey, I have lost this. You're trying to use that incident that happened at your house, right? And you feel me? And you know, prayers, I hope everybody good. I know besides the bodyguard, you feel me? That's, you know, that's a tragic situation. Don't get me wrong, right? We're not going to ignore that. But at the same time, we're not going to include not like us because of that, if that makes sense, right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, that situation happened. But what Pac say? But you and I know what's going on. You feel me? And what I mean by that is the people that know what's going on, the people know what's going on. Catch on. Not like us had nothing to do with that situation, bro. Had nothing to do with that. But you're saying that your son is getting threats at school because of that, because of the song. And I'm not gonna, excuse me, I'm not gonna dispute that in the sense of, yeah, that's true. I understand that. But I feel like that will be with anything that happens with you, bro. You're a public figure. So they're gonna do that regardless, bro. They're gonna do that regardless. So what's going on with Kendrick's kids when they go to school? You know what I'm saying? If they in school right now, I'm pretty sure preschool or kindergarten. So they got to go through the same thing. So that ain't nothing new. I'm sorry. I don't have, I hate to say it, bro. I don't have no sympathy for you on that. Because like I said, you didn't say some disparaging things too. So no, it doesn't work like that, bro. I'm not. But as far as entities, you ain't lost. Like you still you, bro. Unless they lying up here, the PR is doing a terrible job. But every time I go on social medias, bro, you breaking records. So you ain't lost nothing. Like I said, this shit helped you. This helped you and Kendrick. But I'm gravitating with the observation. I'm not saying it right. I'm not saying it wrong. Y'all let me know in the comments below. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Gravity. 100.